afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Run 8 Train Simulator version 2 stream. It's been a while since I've been on. Life been keeping me pretty busy, but finally got a quiet moment and figured I'd come on, stream some Run 8. It's actually been a while since I've been on Run 8. I've been doing a lot of DCS World lately. Approach medium. I guess while I've been doing a lot of DCS World lately, I just haven't had the opportunity to stream any of it. My computer isn't quite up to the task. It stutters quite a bit in DCS World, as well as with having moved and even 3 months later, still getting everything sorted out. Just haven't had the opportunity to stream. We're on the Depot plus SoCal server today. It's like an approach signal at the south end there. I think that's Rowen. And we're running the, what is it, the U-NCCLVP-28. It's a tanker train that runs into BNSF Bakersfield, where it's broke down and run by one of the locals up to Tricor Petroleum. Look back, there is a lot of tankers back there.
UP detector milepost 347.0.
Feeling a little bit rusty, given the sheer amount of time it's been since I've actually run anything on the in Run 8. Certainly doesn't go as fast as an F-18 Hornet. Let's have a look here. We're meeting somebody. V-Rick ELP. I believe that's a auto-rack train. There's no dispatcher on today, so it's all sort of a free-for-all. May see some other players once we get down towards Bakersfield, maybe a couple of locals running around. Looking pretty quiet for a user base here on the main line, at least up on the Mojave sub. I think most of the traffic, most of the players are actually down in LA and Cajon. Let's have another look back at our train here. Oh, there's the back end, barely can see it. We're 68, almost 6,900 feet today, 15,157 tons. A hold of 106 cars. All loads. Last signal was an approach signal, so that means the next one will be a stop. Ride the dynamic brake there a little bit so we can kind of coast in. Maybe we can get away without stopping. So we picked this train up at the Woodford side in here on the UP Mojave sub. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like anybody refueled it when it passed through Barstow. The mid-train locomotives damn near on fumes. So that could make this trip a little interesting. As there's no refueling station or platform there in BNSF Bakersfield, more than likely these locomotives will have to be run back to Barstow dead in tow. Head end's okay. We've got there's that 3,280 gallons. Well, here's our train we're meeting. Dim the headlight, even though it's an AI. It's good practice to stay in. I'll look at the dispatching board here and see if he's. Oh, he's not clear. We're not clear the east end either, so.
UP detector milepost 3, 4,
Ride the dynamic brake a little bit harder as if I'm going to stop, because I don't necessarily remember where the how far it is to the light. I believe it's on that far corner that said those auto racks. Yeah, defect detector is giving us no alarms.
4 degrees. UP detector out.
The light out of there. There we go, there's the lights at the north end and tail end of the AI train passing us by. Let's go back to the dispatching board here and give ourselves the light. Nope, can't take that many. I would give myself the light at a cliff, so that'll take me to Bealville. An AI coming up the hill, so if I want to get down there, I should probably hurry up. Shut the bell off. Clear signal. The light, permission to continue on down the hill. our speed under control here. We're a mile an hour above the limit. Alright, back on speed. We'll probably end up dropping a couple miles an hour. Take us a mile or two to even our speed out. The slack runs back to and through, no, back and forth through the train. So slack runs in the cars bunch up and it tends to shove us a little bit more. Gotta love that horn. And clear signal. Should be the distance signal to CP Cliff. Definitely a ways down here. And clear signal. CP North Cliff. I guess that'd be South Cliff, rather. So we're northbound here on the UP. is have a look down Caliente and see if we can see that AI train. Yeah, there he is. Get the way down there. Track's gonna double back on itself a couple of times as it climbs the grade. And we ought to see him in about 10 minutes maybe. It's probably one of the more interesting parts of the route where you can see the track in two different spots. Caliente itself and then the track between Allard and Caliente right there. And we're speeding again. Only 1 mile an hour, but company I worked for, their policy was 1 mile an hour no matter what the reason was speeding, which really did not take into practical account the actual running of a very large freight train where the slack could run in and give you a push and you'd be doing that mile an hour. She had a story about there was an engineer there when I was still there who was running his train into town and saw a track maintainer's high rail pickup truck next to the train tracks. Next thing he knew, the guy was popping out from behind the signal shed with a radar gun in his hand. And they got him for 1 mile an hour over the limit. They suspended him for, I believe it was a month. See, better view down there into Caliente. That's why I say these days, aside from the money, I much prefer running the virtual version of trains rather than the real ones. Not that I was a conductor trainee, but did get the opportunity to run some yard locomotives and even a couple of mainline units, all under the direction of people who'd done it for decades. We're gonna beat him into Allard, so we'll give ourselves the light into the siding. Look down and we can see down into Bealville, which will be where we'll cross over into the second track, the passing track. My understanding is Bealville and Allard used to be two separate controlled, well, they are still separate controlled locations, but used to be two separate sidings that were just so close together that at some point, I guess it would have been Southern Pacific in those days, decided just to connect them up, make them one. Turn the cab light on so we can see something. coming out of the tunnel from our lead units here. Got three different banks rather of locomotives in our train today. Let's see if we can bring them up. Got our head end units, mid trains, and pushers on the rear. All are distributed power units, so they are running remote control under my control rather than another crew or something running them. And that looks to be a diverging approach medium signal to Bealville. Usually you'd make a radio call over on the sim here, it'd be TeamSpeak, to all the other users and the dispatcher. You'd call anything that's not a clear signal, anything that carries some kind of a restriction on it. But being that there's no dispatcher and there's not really anybody running the main up here, we'll have to worry about that too much. Should have the crossing here right at the control point as well. We'll have to start blowing for. So we can get an interesting little flyby or something. See if we can see anything. Doesn't look like it. Not from this angle anyways. Back. Where tail end of our train is completely at a cliff. That was where we just were. As I attempt to point at the screen from my place, like you guys can see it. But that's cliff up there. That'll be the north signal at CP Cliff. And the tunnel we went through. Well, one of the three. We just one of three or one or two? One of two tunnels we just passed through. And there's the train we're meeting. He's actually gonna, he's already here. That's the north signal there at, I believe that's, yeah, north signal there at Allard. So he's actually made it here. We've ducked into the side and got out of the way. Let's see if I can line the switch behind us. Not yet. Oh, we haven't hit the crossover yet. Okay. an approach signal for us. Been so long since I've run a train that I could actually think about where the keys are. Used to be pretty much muscle memory before. Let's have a look at the board. Yeah, we're still hanging out. He's still hanging out, so. Doesn't appear that there's a yard mess around in Bakersfield, so so far we're not going to have to be calling anybody there. Let's dim the headlights because we're going to be coming up on this guy. Again, it's just another AI, but in real life that's kind of what you would do. You don't want to blind the other crew. And we are clear. Let's give him the light. And he's clear, so we will take the light. Looking to be another auto rack train here. The gray cars you see there, the sort of generic looking box cars, are actually just a filler car because I haven't purchased the car pack that whatever that one is belongs to. Running can get to be a bit of an expensive hobby. I guess nothing compared to DCS though. I'm just running my train via a keyboard mouse combination, whereas you can actually get a actual desktop setup with the various handles and brakes and throttle and whatnot, much like you can get a joystick for a flight simulator. That's called a rail driver. I've never actually had one of those, but one of those things that's been on my list. But right now, top of my priorities is actually I've started ordering some stuff for a new computer. I've only ordered a case so far, but it'd be nice to get a start. Like the PC I have now, but I don't think I can push it much farther. The motherboard and CPU are, I want to say 9 or 10 years old now. Which with Run 8 hasn't been much of an issue. I've upgraded other pieces here and there, but DCS World kind of beats on this computer very badly. When I do my video editing or editing my photographs, it can slow down quite a bit. So after 9-10 years, it's time to build a new one. when I'll be done building the new PC, I don't know. Just recently moved into a new place. And despite it looking in mint condition, I'm sure we will find things that need to be addressed. So, unfortunately, that'll have to take priority. We'll look back. We can see our train. We can see the AI train there climbing its way up the hill. The dynamic brake, and I'm letting the train accelerate because I have seen the signal. I know that it's not a stop, so I'll let it build up some speed here. As we pass the crossover there, I guess it's the Bealville crossover, the signal was an approach, which would indicate the approach to the next signal prepared to stop, but I could have seen the light for it, and I can tell you it's clear, as we can see right there. We've got the light, we're heading down the hill. Hasn't been any official news on Run 8 version 3. Last winter they gave sort of an ETA of this winter, but given the current health of the planet, everybody under various restrictions and whatever else, Lord knows where they're at. I would have thought maybe they'd be ahead of schedule, but rumor mill has it that people have gotten busy with life and other commitments, given kids no longer going to school and whatnot, so I guess we'll see. I should have blown over for that. It will be interesting to see what they add with version 3. The big one everybody's really looking forward to, I think, is weather, and it actually impacting train operations. I know I'd certainly like to come through here in the pouring down rain and have my wheels slipping and generally being a bit of a nightmare. Got a 15 mile an hour coming up in 2 miles, so we'll start our counter. Generally puts us in the ballpark as to when we should be slowed down. It'll be a 15 mile an hour around the horseshoe turn there at Bealville. Can we see anything? No, he's gone through cliff already. Yeah, he's through cliff. I think. Just making good time. Now 25, we're speeding. Look away for 1 second. 15 mile an hour. 15 all the way around this corner because it's 90 degrees. No, pardon me, it does a 180. Gonna have to lose a mile an hour speed here. This corner can be tricky too because you'll have friction on the train trying to slow you down just from going around the corner. As well as I've set up some of the little bit of air on the air brakes to make it easier on the locomotives as we come down the hill. So I'll probably end up losing a lot more speed than I anticipate around this corner. As far as kicking the air brakes off because it takes time for them to rebuild and to put them back on again. Good minute or two of a delay there, so I'd certainly prefer not to have to kick them off. Clear signal, South Caliente. Here's the thing about this corner is you can see your whole train at this point. The trees don't get in the way. Here's our mid-train locomotives. Cutting back and the rear pushers. We're not losing or gaining speed now, so oh yeah, it's trying. If I shut the dynamic brake off, the air brakes will re-engage on the locomotives. I may have to bail them off. Doesn't sound like it makes a lot of sense to kick the brakes off the locomotive while the rest are on the train and then start pulling, but it does give you the most control. I think we passed a speed sign. Should have been right back. Maybe we didn't. I think we did. That's cheating. Yeah. 35. No, 25, sorry. So we'll be able to go to 25 miles an hour after that. Do we clear this corner? For this counter here to hit our train length. This is the 6886 feet. We'll be able to start to speed up some. Once we pass the west end, the north end of Illmon, which will be our next sighting. Be allowed to throttle up even more. Lost another mile an hour. It says I'm going to lose 2 in the next minute. Might have to kick the dynamic off. Yeah. Bail off the locomotive brakes. It's playing some interesting tricks on the accelerometer. Just want to take it up nice and gentle so we don't take off. Have a clear signal at North Caliente. We're still in that speed zone, so we don't want to go more than 15. About where it starts to pick up the drop down the grade again. Probably have to go back into dynamic braking here pretty quick. Yeah, let's get that set up. There we go, we're speeding. And back down. See, every time I adjust the dynamic brake accelerometer, there's bouncing back and forth, as well as the read on the traction effort. It's how much resistance the locomotive's putting in. That's all what I'm inputting. More feet. I'll let off and pick up some speed here. Take it up to what, 25. Maybe I didn't get Nightbot set up quite correctly. Should have said something by now. It's even there. Let's try. Oh, he's there. Thought it was supposed to sound off every 10 minutes or so, though. Alright. Speed limit. Alright, we've taken our 6,800 feet. Let's get her up to 25. Split off the dynamic brake and let physics do the rest. Faintly hear the slack running in as the dynamic brake comes back on. accelerometer to stay at 0? Probably not. You could use 1 more mile an hour, but I don't want to be going any faster than that. Weaving our way through the canyon here. It's pretty windy track, and although derailments aren't programmed into the simulator, certainly if you got out of control down here going too fast, you definitely end up all over the place. Almost 6,900 feet of train. You should probably try and keep it all on the line. Especially considering it's tanker cars. God knows, I think it's oil we're hauling. Certainly not good for the environment. Looks like we've got a clear signal at South Illmon. I believe that's the speed sign right there as well. Once we clear that, we're a mixed manifest. We're allowed up to, or we're not a mixed manifest, sorry, we're a unit train. But we can go up to 55 miles an hour. So that would be the fastest most freight trains are allowed to go, you know, intermodals and I think what auto rack trains, they are allowed to go a bit faster if the speed limit authorizes them, but 55 would be our absolute max. So I know we're clear. clear signal at North Illmon as well. Train link through. We're okay to 55. 2.5 miles on the other end, though we're going to have to be down to 50 because the speed limit across the switch at Bena is 50. Yeah, let's see how quick we can get there. Starting to shove us. After Bena, we'll have a climb up a grade there at between Bena and Sandcut, and then it'll be the remainder of the trip downhill into Bakersfield. Probably a little rusty on my signals, but I believe that's a approach diverging or diverging clear. Approach diverging clear, something like that. Bottom aspect's green, so we're going to be taking the switch to the other track. Used to know these like the back of my hand, but haven't had a lot of time to do much since I moved. Whereas I think I was checking out the depot's server statistics the other day, checking out my profile. 1 month I ran up to 58 trains. In October this year, I didn't run anything. Like there was 2 in September, and this may be my second one for November. Really didn't pick up speed like I thought we would. Definitely rusty. Still don't want to kick off the air up those cars though. Yeah, I'm gonna do it anyways. Set up for dynamic just in case I need it. Next minute or so the cars are going to accelerate as the brakes release from the air pressure change.
milepost 328.6.
Accelerometer showing us is gaining 12 miles an hour, 11 miles an hour now. In the next minute or so. Don't think we'll get to that because we're gonna cap it at 50 and we've got that grade. We'll be in notch 8 by the time we hit that turn that's off in the distance. And Diverging clear. Oh, we are actually going to hit 50. Definitely see the airs released. Crossing coming up. At 51, we're speeding. Level and then start to pull back. What do we look at here? Clear signal. Score. Start letting off the dynamic brake. We're gonna have to jump to pull in here in a minute. Less than 700. No, I don't think so. Yeah, it's surging around now. No defects.
No defects. Total axles 472. Train speed 49 mph. Ambient temperature 65 degrees. UP detector out.
Really rusty. I should have started running my counter at that switch. Off. Notch 1. Stretch it out. Notch 2. Shows us just losing 7 miles an hour climbing into notch 3. Notch 4. Track 1, notch 5, the headlights, shows losing 10 miles an hour now, and a 6. Notch 7, 43 miles an hour, still losing speed. Notch 8. That's all we got. Figure we basically have the rear car, the pedal beat to the floor. Still showing us losing 8 miles an hour, 7, 6. Not so bad. Okay, southbound UP, UP. Coal train, 60 miles an hour from this point. Again, we're a tanker train, so we're going to be limited to 55. Grab the board. Oh, we got somebody coming. Who's that? J. Kong bringing the Barstow 1-27A. Yes. Yeah, there we go. He's setting it up. I'll let him run that. Looks like he missed the north light at Illmon, but he'll notice that. Coming up to a crossing, clear signal, Sandcut. set a little bit of the air brakes here. Yeah. 2 miles over the speed limit. Come on. Get her under control. Still telling me I'm accelerating. I don't think so. Crossing. I am accelerating. Crossing coming up. A little bit more there. My luck, I gave it too much. Start kicking the dynamic off. Interesting thing about train brakes is once you set them, you really don't want to fiddle with them. Can I get my mile an hour back? Can I get 55? We've cleared the mountains. It's farm country. Here to Bakersfield. There's a lot of produce comes out of this area. Mountains off in the distance. Good old blast the horn because I can. A little bit more dynamic. Another crossing coming up. I haven't seen the whistle posts. Mile post, I think that's the whistle post, the next one up. Goes the mile post. Whistle post. Start blowing. Should be coming up to Edison soon. Crossing. Yeah, it looks like this is Edison. Another whistle post. If I remember correctly, this one's a bit back. post. Post.
UP detector milepost 318.8 track 2.
Alright, I didn't set my counter up there, but that's because we're coming into Bakersfield. And it's gonna drop to 20 before I get it all the way. So I'm going to watch for the speed sign, set up my detector off that. My counter rather. Whistle post or is that the speed? That's a whistle post. And there's the speed sign. Spur out to the Arvin branch. San Jacinto Valley Railway runs that. Modeled here in the simulation, so we could, if you log on to the server, those jobs are modeled. Run out there. A lot of single track and no lights. Branch line, so there will only usually be the one train out there unless something really, really odd is going on. Or the occasional time when somebody forgets to realign a switch and finds an AI chasing them. Alright, 7,500 feet. We need to lose, 27 miles an hour in 2,000 feet. Yeah, we can do that. Shut the counter off. Speed sign is right there. done it. Quite the contrary, I might have to kick the air off. Well, bail the lead locomotives off. Locomotives in general. Lost too much speed now. This is the UP yard here in Bakersfield. And what are we looking at for a light? Let me check the dispatching board to make sure the switches are not set correctly. Look at that. That will take us up the UP, and that's not where we want to go. There we go. That light looks better. Diverging clear. Or approach diverging clear? I don't know. So rusty on my signals. Do this every day and it's like it's nothing. I'll do it for a couple months and then it gets complicated again. I wonder who grabbed those switches. Maybe somebody ran a local. And I just got a text message from the wife, so I may have to AI this into the yard. Oh, can I even do that? I don't know if I can. Somebody either made a drop or we've got a bunch of cars for pickup here at UP Bakersfield. That's a lot of cars. I think that's probably a pickup. Here in a minute. Speeding as it is. If I had to guess, I'd say those are pickups. Looks like a local over there ready to go out. Probably that one down the Irvin branch. check. Still no Bakersfield Yard master, so we don't have to worry about that. But I should check the OC and see what's actually clear in Bakersfield. Arrivals 1, 2, 3, 4. Departure 4. They're building up a back barn on 5. And we got westbound pickups on track 6. And Diverging clear Kern Junction. Mojave sub anymore. We're going to be on the very last little bit of the BNSF Mojave sub. The UP trains, they continue straight ahead. The BNSF all forks off this way up under the BNSF Bakersfield sub. I don't think the Bakersfield sub starts till the north, or what is they called? North Bakersfield? West Bakersfield? West Bakersfield here. Change that. We won't be going that far. I'll put it on arrival 3. There's some notes saying I shouldn't. Loads from Illmon to BNSF Bakersfield, 104 tanks. 2 buffers, powers 3 by 3 by 2. Upon arrival, select arrived at BNSF Bakersfield Yard. In the menu, update the appropriate yard track. Do not delete the train. LS 913J SVG SJVR Oil Junction Local will then handle shuttling cars between BNSF Bakersfield and Tricor. Doesn't say a specific track we're supposed to put it in, so don't worry about that. And these crossing here are silent crossings, so we ring the bell, but we do not sound the horn unless somebody does something really, really dumb. With the AR car spanner, it's a good possibility. And the Run 8 patented slow gate activation. That crossing isn't even active up there, is it? Nope, arms are still up. Rules as I was taught are these crossings need to be gates down, fully activated for 20 seconds before the train gets there. Don't quite do that in Sim, I guess. tracks for the Bakersfield Amtrak station here on the BNSF. You don't, passenger trains don't run south from here, but they do run northbound, starting at Bakersfield up to Fresno and I believe all the way up to San Francisco. Could be wrong on that, but I only really know the routes we have modeled, and so anything north of Fresno is a little bit of a mystery to me. You know, Stockton's up there, and Roseville is on the UP is up that way. Now, who knows what we'll get with version 3 whenever that comes out. Do know that they've done some work on the UP Roseville Yard. If you go back into their previous announcement page on the Run 8 website, there is a screenshot, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago at Christmas, when they gave out some free SD70s, being that it was the holidays, and nobody seemed to notice at first, but then some people really started looking at it in the background and seeing where the fuel tanks were and how they were laid out with the highway and everything. Like, wait a minute, we don't have that route. A little hunting on Google Earth and showed that it seemed to be the south end of the Roseville Yard. It's the only place we could find 3 fuel tanks, all marked UP right next to each other with a interstate running in the background. So there's always sort of little hints as to what they're up to. But plans change, so who knows? Here's hoping we get Run 8 version 3 sometime this holiday season, but I'm not going to hold my breath. They don't really communicate with us, telling us what they're up to, because they're afraid, being a smaller developer, that the big boys will learn what they're up to and copy them and take their ideas, or so they just don't seem to have the time to communicate with us like they probably should. Take this switch across over to the other track, and then there'll be a switch that leads into the yard we can use. Switch will be right here. Have to get these back once we've cleared them. That way we don't have to worry about AI train doing something silly. In the real world, it is absolutely critical that you get switches like that back. Derailments may not be modeled in the simulator, but they sure as heck are in real life. The last thing you want to do, is anybody wants to do, is ever go to work and get hurt. to 2. I'm probably gonna have to grab the air again. Come in a little bit hot. Obstructing the main there. Straight ahead goes to the Amtrak station. Alright, let's get these. Red target aligned. Now becomes the interesting part. We gotta check all the switches as we come into the yard. Otherwise we'll end up somewhere we don't intend to be. We don't want that way. We do want to go that way, so arrival 1, arrival 2, arrival 3, we need to get the switch for arrival 3. There's 2. And 3. So pulling into the yard, we're now going to be running restricted speed. We won't be going more than 15 miles an hour, half the range, vision of equipment, which basically means if we suddenly saw a train in front of us coming at us, if he's doing restricted speed as well, we should both be able to stop in half the range, vision of equipment, so we shouldn't ram each other. But there was nobody in the operations center page logged in as the Bakersfield Yard master or a yard crew are going to be working in here, so quiet in the yard. Start our counter so we know when we're clear. Train locomotives yet. Now there's the mid-trains. Train's still stretched out, and there's our rear units coming around the corner. build to support our avatar. And another one. First one we use, the first crossover. Cars are running, but that doesn't mean anything. Oh yeah, we're clear of the crossing. Car spawner is one of those things in the sim that needs a lot more work. You'll find coming crossings, the cars will drive right through your train, whatever else. Alright, crossover 1 to 2, lined back normal for mainline operations. Let's hop on here. Switch main 2, or maybe that's main 1. That's probably main 1. 1 to the yard, lined and locked normal. And yard switch back. Yard to the main, lined and locked normal for main. Not for normal movement anyways. Tuck our train away, and that will be the end of our run. Train will be broke down here into run it to Tricor, which is a refinery east of here. Well, east and sort of over and down a couple of tracks, back across the UP and whatnot. But that'll get them 2 runs to haul what I think is 52 tankers at a time, 52 or 54 tankers at a time. A lot more room between that switch than I intended. Far are we down? Well, we timed that good. I think TJ's having problems. His tray may have corrupted on him or something. This train is not going anywhere. It's handbrake. Shut it off. Let's go into the unit. I'm gonna shut this all off. I don't want it going anywhere. No. It's flashlight. Flashlight? No? Flashlight. Flashlight. Okay then, well, reverse your set to neutral. Locomotives off. Shut these things down because they're so low. Yeah, somebody did not refuel these in Barstow like they were supposed to. Cheat and fly. Something you can't do in real life. Let's see how bad these ones are. Yeah, that's bad. Usually I'd isolate these locomotives too, but somebody's going to need to be cutting this train up. Yeah, that's not good. We really should have got a gas in Barstow. I don't know that they'll make it back. Somebody could build a train here and use those locomotives and end up running out of gas going up the hill, at which point, yeah, nothing good happens. Back at the head end, handbrake applied. Handbrake, what are we? We're 104 plus 2 buffers. So, what is that? That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 handbrakes. That'll hold it. And we will relinquish our train. Go over and do the paperwork. Want to check that as well. And the OC we will click arrived at BNSF Bakersfield Yard. Well, that's interesting. It doesn't ask you where you want it to go. It just says it's here. Okay then, well, I'm gonna have to change that. Let's copy text from our Twitch title. We'll go over to the Bakersfield Yard page. Yeah, it just says it's here. It doesn't. Alright, I want arrived. Yep. What does it say? I want this. Oh, no, don't be doing anything funny. Okay. Got that. Oh, what is our... We're the 9127. It's a BNSF. Okay. Oh, there it is. I'm just blind. Enough. Alright. Let's see what else is going on. Doesn't look like there's really... No, I didn't mean to do that. I really didn't mean to do that. Not really much in online train sim stuff going on. Alright. Let's see here. Alright, so let's, with that, I'm gonna call it a day here. I'm gonna send you over to raid this guy. Seems to be doing I'm not sure. Train Simulator 2020. Yeah, it looks pretty. It's a very pretty simulator. Its physics are garbage, but doesn't behave very well. But hey, let's head on over there. And thanks for the anybody who stopped by and visited, and anybody who's watching the replay. Hopefully, I will get back to doing these a little bit more consistently. Since I've moved, things have been a little chaotic, but looking forward to getting back here and even getting a new PC up and streaming away. So thanks for stopping by. Have a great day, and be safe out there, everyone.